All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in, everyone. If you have never been with me for any kind of a workshop or a webinar or anything, these are very informal. Do not hesitate to stop me and ask any questions or drop questions in the chat. I will be taking a peek at that as well. I definitely want to make sure that you walk away with a really firm grasp of what you are dealing with when it comes to this video option. So again, last night we had the written exam newbie Q&A. Tonight is all about the video performance option of the RICA. My name is Emily Muccianti. I am a reading specialist and an interventionist. I've been in education for over 30 years, 27 of those years in the classroom. And so there is a great deal of experience under my belt. And I always say that nobody has been working on the RICA longer than me. It's been about 8 years that I've been supporting teachers on their journey into the RICA and getting this passed so you can get in the classroom. And I actually started by tutoring one of my son's teachers and then started hosting workshops in my classroom many, many years ago, and then came online. So thousands have come through with me now, and that is super exciting to say. We've had some really amazing results. And, you know, when people have a plan and they know what to do, the success rate is pretty high. So let's jump right in. If you are considering this as an option, this is what you kind of need to consider. Those of you that have attempted the written exam several times, okay, you have not found the win on it yet, but you have been preparing, you understand the domains and the competencies, or at least to a certain degree, because you're going to need to be able to pull that information into your templates. If you are a teacher or an intern with your own class right now, this could be a good option for you. And if you feel very confident and you are comfortable in your teaching and you have good classroom management, this is really important. If those things kind of speak to you, then this might be a good option for you. If you are a teacher of a mod severe special education class, I would strongly urge you to consider sticking with the written, because in a lot of those situations, we have students who you're working with that are nonverbal, and that's going to be really challenging for you to demonstrate your knowledge of being able to teach the things that are required in the competencies. So really think long and hard about that one if you fall into that category. There are some of you, however, that should not really consider this as an option. If you have too much going on in your life right now, you're trying to do your Cal TPAs and the RICA at the same time, and you just are too swamped, you really have to have some dedicated time, because this is a big task. If you do not have your own class and you would actually have to borrow a class, this is not an ideal situation. That scheduling can be really challenging, and there is a level of, honestly, discomfort because those are not your kids, and it's a little bit more stressful in that situation. If you lack class control and your classroom management is not really strong, consider the written. And if you have never done the written, I always think that this is absolutely the best place to start. And if you are not in a placement where you can actually demonstrate the requirements of the RICA, and again, that kind of falls into our friends that are in that special ed population, mostly the mod severe group. Okay, so that being said, you're still here because that must mean that you're still thinking about it. So that's great. We are going to go through the templates and the requirements that are in place right now. Everything that we are speaking to is only valid through June 13th of 2024. Every year, they rewrite the video option, they reorganize the templates, and there are changes to be made, which means I have to recreate my course every single year. So no matter if you were to join a digital course with me today, or you would join in March, you will only have access to that course until June 13th because it will no longer be relevant. So with this option, you are required to demonstrate your knowledge and skills in the selected competencies that are pulled from the 5 domains. And you have to do a number of things. You have to deliver effective reading instruction that is based on the results of ongoing assessment and reflects a knowledge of the standards while it's sensitive to the needs of all students. There are 3 video submissions and template submissions that you have to complete within your same submission window. So the first is the whole class setting. A whole class setting is considered 5 or more students. There will be a recorded instruction video that is between 5 and 10 minutes in length, and a written template that is several pages long. There is, the second one is a small group setting, which is anywhere from 3 students to 12 students. And again, you will turn in an accompanying video and template. And then the final one is an individual student, a one-on-one student, which is also an instructional video and template. Each video must be between 5 and 10 minutes in length. It cannot be edited. So you can trim the videos at the beginning and the end, but the part that is submitted must be no less than 5 minutes long and no more than 10 minutes long. So don't go to 10:02 and don't go to 4:58. Keep your numbers within that realm. Again, unedited, only trimmed. The part that is submitted must be uninterrupted. This also has to show you providing the instruction, and it must represent your original work. You will, there are privacies and controls that are part of this. You will collect parent permission slips for all students that would be seen in your recording, and you would keep that for your records until you receive your notification of pass, then you can destroy those. You can make a backup of your videos just for safety purposes, but you may not distribute your videos unless it's somebody that is working with you to kind of just help you. It can't go out to the public, and your videos must be destroyed after your passing scores have been received. So there are 3 submission deadlines every year. We've already had the first deadline. So that was in October 26th, and I am so happy to say that those that were in my digital course for this option, we had an 88% pass rate, which was amazing. And that is with the asynchronous course. The video option only has a 50% pass rate. That is what is published. They have a 50% pass rate. The written has a 68% pass rate. So the video, just statistically, is harder to pass. There are only 2 submission deadlines left. The next one is March 7th of 2024. No matter when you turn your template in between now and March 7th, you will not receive scores until the March 7th submission closes, and their reporting date is available, which is at the end of March. June 13th is the last and final submission deadline, and you will receive scores in July. I think it's July 10th. So I know some of you are on the wire as far as showing that you have passed the RICA by a certain deadline, and you need to make note of when those score reports are available to you. Registration for the RICA option closes June 1. They will not let anyone sign up after June 1st because, quite honestly, 2 weeks is not enough time to get this done. Any questions so far? Hang on one sec. Ben, can you close this? Sorry. My cat opened the door. Marisol, go ahead, sweetie.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I had a question regarding I have taken the written RICA test and I passed subtest 3, but I can't seem to pass subtest 1. I had success with the CalTPAs and that's why I'm considering the video option. If I had passed one of the subtests, do I still have to do all of the video?
You do. They are completely separate requirements. Yeah. So
Okay.
my advice is to stick with the written, quite honestly, because you're already a third of the way done and you just haven't passed subtest 1 yet. We're going to add that yet to it. Yes. Yes. And are you part of my course, honey?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Then I would definitely, we can talk about that. But yeah, I think I would stick with the written. But stick around and find out. There might be some other things that you see. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Great question. Yep. So all of the requirements must be met in order to receive a pass. So let's look at what those requirements are. Again, setting number 1 is a whole class, and you must complete the word analysis competency. So the lesson that you choose is going to be from domain 2, and you can choose either competency 6 or 7, just one. Also, and I forgot to mention this, every single template also has a great deal to do with domain 1, which is assessment and planning. And there is a ton that you will do as far as data collection. That is a part of all of these, okay? So the whole class lesson is typically a word analysis lesson. It might be a phonics-based lesson, a spelling type of a lesson, and you would look at these 2 competencies to choose your lesson specifically from that. The second setting, which again is the small group, this setting is going to be on comprehension. So you are required to develop a student's comprehension. And again, you have a choice of competency 13, 14, or 15. Now, there are several sub-competencies under all of these. So you are going to look for, and I'll show you this in the course, you actually look for the sub-competency to really get specific about your lesson. Competency 13 is pretty much a general overview of comprehension. 14 is specific to narrative text, and 15 is specific to expository text. So I have had past students that high school SPED teacher, he was actually supporting science, and he did his comprehension using his science lesson. So there is no reason that you can't cross over into that as long as you are meeting the requirement of the competency. Setting number 3 for the individual, the requirement is a lesson from domain 4, competency 11. Domain 4 is all about academic vocabulary and background knowledge. And so you would again look at those sub-competencies under domain 4 in order to select your lesson. And I'll show you how the course is laid out at the end. I take you through each of these steps very, very detailed. So you are required to meet everything in order to receive the pass, which means all 3 videos and templates must be uploaded and submitted, not uploaded, submitted at the same time. You can upload over several days, but when you hit that submit button, you have to have everything in place. You will submit evidence and videos that have never been scored before. This is very important. If you have attempted this option before and you turned something in and it did not get a pass, You need to start over. Do not try to sneak around this one. There is no shortcut. You got to put in the work. You got to do the work. And honestly, if it didn't pass the first time, you need to start again. You must submit videos and templates that focus on the correct number of students. And those students, kind of the back of the head, should really be seen so that you can validate that you are in fact working with that accurate number of students. You must demonstrate your knowledge and skills with sufficient video evidence. Inside the content specifications, they say you bear the burden of proof. It is up to you to demonstrate that you know in your video, you show exactly what is required, and also in your template. If there is any ambiguity in either of those, you will not receive the pass. You must record 5 to 10 minutes of instruction without interruption. You can't interrupt the recording or later edit it. Your face must be seen and the instruction must be heard. So there is some technical, parameters that you need to work within. Again, you must submit your original work, but this original work must be you teaching in English. So if you are part of a dual immersion program, that's fine. But all of your videos and everything in your templates is in English. And the responses that while you're delivering your lesson, and even your students' responses, they should not be scripted. You can have your lesson plan out, you can have kind of your bullet points and guidelines, but they don't want to think that kids have been rehearsing for you. So you must record in an approved file type, which is an MP4, which most of them do that. But sometimes there can be some challenges if you are recording in a different type of file system. And so there is a section in the assessment guide that will give you a lot of detail about what is acceptable and approved. And that's so that it will interface with the upload process. You don't want to do all this work and then realize that you can't upload it because it's in the wrong format. You also must agree to the RICA candidate attestations, which is where you confirm that you are the sole author of your submission. Do not borrow someone else's template. Do not try to, take theirs and tweak it. Don't do it. There is so much writing on that. It's a very serious issue if they were to identify any type of plagiarism. And so it's just something, just remove that temptation all the way around. I will say also, you've got to be careful when you're looking at AI tools, because you need to be the sole author of your submission. Now, if you teach in an online setting, they do have some parameters, and they accept online teaching situations. I have had a handful of teachers that have been online teachers and have passed no problem. You can complete it in that setting. All of the assessment requirements and all of the submission requirements still must be completed. There are guides about this type of a situation on pages 6 and 7 of the assessment guide, which I will give to you in a moment. So what will happen after you submit is a few weeks later, you will receive your score report. And here is a situation where this candidate did not pass. You can see did not pass. So this was called, it used to be a packet. It's now a submission. They may still use packet as a term, but don't get confused by that. So again, domain 1 is a part of everything. That's the assessment and planning component. And then you can see domain 2, 5, 4, the whole class, small group, individual. When it says submission requirement met, that has nothing to do with the quality of your submission. This just means you turned it in. You turned in your video and you turned in your template. This is nothing about any type of score. So here, the passing score did not meet. They had a total score of 209. A minimum passing score, just like the written, is 220. And the range will be from 100 to 300. If you pass, you will not know what your score actually was. Now, each time you get a score report back, you will receive this information down below, which is the diagnostic information that they provide to you regarding your submission. And this can be very helpful. It's somewhat vague. I have expanded upon this a great deal in the course because this is the stuff that they're going to really hold you to. So the first is, you can see, you must establish an instructional objective based on the assessment. You must identify the RICA competency from which the lesson's central objective was derived. You must plan an appropriate lesson aligned with the central objective in mind. You must deliver the lesson providing students with direct, explicit instruction. This is very important. It is blasted all over the requirements. You must analyze the lesson. You must use accurate knowledge about reading as identified in the content specifications. So all of these are listed. And then what they're going to tell you is which areas did your submission have a need for. So for this person, it was their packet A, which is their whole class, and their whole class submission lacked in area 3 and 6. So they did not plan the lesson aligned to the objective. So the objective and the lesson did not match up. And they did not use accurate knowledge about reading as identified in the content specifications. So they were not able to speak the language of RICA and tie it all together. And because of that, they did not pass. All right. That is only, you have to pass all of them to receive a pass. You cannot just, there is a caveat somewhere in the assessment guide that if they invite you to resubmit just one, that's a possibility, but this candidate did not get that as an option. So if you receive a pass, this was what it will look like. You can see here, pass. And then they still are going to show some areas of need. So here, video setting 2, number 3. So they had a weakness in planning an appropriate lesson aligned with that central objective, but it wasn't enough to drop the score. So they still received the pass. Okay. Any questions on those? Okay. So before you begin, you really need to take care of a few details. You first need to decide if this is the option for you. And actually, let me give you some links here so that you have what you need. Whoops, I got to minimize that. Hold on. All right, so I am going to give you the RICA exam info links to the CDC and the content specifications. And I'm going to drop it in the chat. If you don't have them, save this. They change every year. So if you have an old one, you need to change and look at this one. What I strongly urge you to do is to, I'm old school. I print everything out. I know it's a pain and I probably kill lots of trees, but to me, it's the way I operate best. So I print everything out. I put it in a binder and you can see my highlighting all over it and my Post-it notes, because this is my Bible through this process. Okay. This is my reference with my notes, because I'm going to do my absolute best to guide you. But if there's a question or a specific that I haven't addressed, you'll find it in that assessment guide. So definitely, before you make this decision, take a look at those. Okay, So the other thing is, I strongly urge you to obtain permission from your school first and your parents. Let your school know that this is a requirement you have to meet and that you are planning to do the recordings so that they are aware. And I would let your parents know too. This is what's happening. It's a requirement I have to do, because this is what your kids are going to do. They're going to come home and they're going to say, teacher was recording me. And your parents are going to go, what? So be forthright and let them know what is happening. Also, review that assessment guide and the content specifications before planning your lesson. There is no way you should not have one iota or inkling of what your lesson is going to look like right now. Do not get stuck on a lesson because you have no idea what they're asking for. Be sure that you select a lesson that meets the requirement of whatever that specified domain and subcompetency is. That is very, very important. You would also get parent permission slips for your kids. And we have these in the course. The CDC gives you one, and it's in English. I had a lovely past member who was kind enough to translate it into Spanish, so we have it available in Spanish and in English inside of the course. All right, so let's talk about the course a little bit, okay? Inside of the course, you may have heard what we did last year. Last year is different. I did live cohorts, I capped the numbers, and I am not doing that this year at all. Now what is available is a digital course. It is an asynchronous digital course where everything is step by step laid out for you. I cover all of the content. I provide templates. They are annotated samples of the templates. I don't give you an actual template because this work has to be yours. But what I give you is the template, and I annotate it, kind of translating what they're asking you to do and giving you those tips and points to focus on what you need to. There are 9 modules inside of the course, and there's over 5 hours of recorded video and slide deck. There are monthly Q&A sessions that will start in January that are live meetings with me. They're 1 hour, and it's an opportunity for you to come in and pick my brain. I am not reading templates. I am not watching videos this year. It is a great deal of time and energy commitment that I have too many other things going on and I cannot do it. But I do have somebody for you. And so hang on, because I'm filling a need here. This is new from the last submission to this submission. The Q&A sessions that I do hold are recorded, and they are all uploaded into the digital course. So the cost of the course is $167. This is a one-time payment. It will give you access through the final submission deadline, which is June 13th, 2024. Then your access will be removed, and that's because the course doesn't count anymore. I have to rewrite it next summer, and I will close the course on June 1st. I will not let anybody come in late, like after that, because it's just not enough time. And I don't want you to get in a pinch that way. Okay. But let me tell you what this has been added. There will be template reviews available at an additional cost for those of you that finish the digital course. That's first. You have to actually finish the digital course. I go in and I can see what you've done in the digital course. And if you've gone through everything that I have laid out really clearly to do, and you still want somebody to review your template, I have these wonderful ladies that have agreed to work on my behalf. There are reviewers, and they were past students of mine. They were last year's students who have worked with me closely. They passed the first time. They had amazing submissions. They had great videos, And I only asked a handful to come back and help me out with this because I know that this is an area that gives people comfort. And so they are vetted by me. If you want to have somebody review your template after you've completed the course, after you've done everything, and you just want to be sure, which quite honestly, it's worth the investment, to be clear, there is the template review will be $50. The video review will be $50. You can do them both. This is with a reasonable amount of reviews. It's not one, but it's not 5 or 10. Okay. It's, you know, there's going to be a little bit of back and forth action, but it is not unlimited. And this payment is going to be made directly to that reviewer. What will happen after you complete the course, after you have everything ready and you want somebody to review it, you're going to email me and I'm going to put you in contact with one of these people. They will then work out a system with you. They will have access to me. If they see something that they are stumped by, they will come to me on your behalf. Okay, so you have a little in there. Although you guys can reach out to me via email anytime also, but it's nice to have somebody look at your template. So this was a super cool addition. Thank you. We've got a few of them here in this call today. So thank you, ladies. I'm so happy that you're here. Keep your anonymity. We are, we'll make that noticed later. I strongly recommend that you do not use the video option as a first attempt unless there is some extenuating circumstance. Okay. You know you better. It is just my suggestion. You will make the decision that is best for you. You absolutely do need to study all of the content specifications and know the content well. You have to be able to speak RICA. You have to understand how reading development works. You have to have that foundation, or else it will not come across in your videos or your templates. I also recommend that you only choose this option if you have your own class to work with. It's very challenging to work with somebody else's class. Especially, they typically may not see you as that authority. There are some additional challenges. Again, just my opinion, my recommendation. You do what you think is best. And take that out. I would say commit to finishing the course. There are no weekly lives. There are Q&As, but I have laid everything out. The pass rate shows it, right? The pass rate, 88%, come on, it was pretty impressive. If you just do what I tell you, exactly as I tell you, we can increase your chances greatly. I will never guarantee you will pass. I cannot do that. I can provide you with great resources. How you use that is really up to you. But if you do everything I say, we can increase your chances a great deal. So here's what I want you to do. I've dropped in the chat, the assessment guide and the content specifications. I want you to download that and I want you to review it. Become very familiar with the assessment guide. Okay. Go through it. I have built my course on the requirements of the assessment guide, but remember, you bear the burden of proof. So, although I think that it could probably be done just by following me, I want you to have that other resource. Okay. You need to know what you're in for. And if you want to join the course, you could start immediately. I will drop the link in the chat for you to take a peek at that if you are interested. But I really think that we've put something together that has been super helpful. And I have to give a shout out to my last year's cohorts, because the way this all developed, I had this one amazing woman who reached out to me and she said, Emily, we really need your help with the video. And I had been resisting doing the video option because I had helped past teacher friends of mine with the video, and it was just kind of a pain. And she was like, no, we really need it. And so we kind of went with it and we winged it the first time. And I had 3 cohorts. They were such hardworking teachers. They were amazing teachers. And I was so, so blessed to be connected to them because we learned a lot together. We really did. And they taught me and I taught them. And the result of all of that time together is the course as it is now. And it's pretty comprehensive. Questions, comments, concerns. I saw a question, great question, Juana. If we have permission from the schools and parents, do you need a permission slip for every student? I say cover your bases. Yes. So even, you know how a lot of schools will even do a media release inside their ARIES system where it's part of registration. I don't think that's enough. Your parents need to know that you are recording their kids. And so send it off. If they don't bring one back, that doesn't mean they can't participate in the lesson. That means they can't be on camera. Okay, so they can come to the back. You just can't see them. And that's it. So it's not going to really throw anything. But I think it is, I would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Okay, be proactive there. Other questions? Do you want to see what's inside the course? Okay, so what I'd like to do is take you through what that looks like. Let me go to a couple of places. Okay. So first of all, if you are a member of the written exam, you're a platinum member, a VIP, or a standard member, this is a different course, guys. That membership that you have is for the written exam. This is completely different. It's a completely different monster. It's a completely different course. So keep that in mind. So when you come into the website, if you've never been here before, this is RICAprep101.com. When you enroll, you create a username and password, and everything is password protected, okay? So if you're interested in joining, and I'm going to drop this in the chat now, let me change that tool. So you can just kind of peruse and see what we have. I'll show you where the video information is. It's right here. Video option course information. So this will tell you about that. And here is where you would click to join if you want. So I'm going to drop that. Whoops. I'm going to drop that link in the chat for you in case you would like it. You can get it anytime. You don't have to do it right now, but it's here if you need it, because I'm not limiting the number of students for this. When it's asynchronous, that makes it really nice to go back to just everybody can have access. So when you join, this will be your login. It'll have your avatar. It might say login, and you're going to click My Library. And when you go to your library, these are the courses, my courses that will be available to you. It's whatever you have purchased and enrolled in. If you have the written exam, the main asynchronous course, here's our podcast course. Here for the written, both of these are the written. The video performance option is here. So you click view product, and everything is housed in here. And let me just say also, I forgot to put this in the slide deck. There's a mobile app. So you can access all of this on your phone. Okay. The link, if you go to the App Store and search Kajabi, and this is true for my written exam, search Kajabi, that's the name of my web host. You can actually get access on your phone or tablet. Okay, so you'll see module 1 is all about the video introduction. What I suggest is when you start any course with me, you start at the very first video and you work your way down. Do not skip. Do not take shortcuts. Okay, there are no shortcuts. Invest the time so you can get the pass. If you don't invest the time, you are going to miss something very important, and you're going to get a score that is going to be close, but it's not going to get you over the hump. And that's going to feel like a kick in the gut. Okay. So just invest the time up front. So I tell you about it, how to navigate it, the guidelines and requirements. Some of this I have already introduced you to today, but go through it again. We talk about how to record your videos, and then we go into some of the templates and files. So there's no video here, you can see, but you always want to pay attention to what's in the margins. These are PDF downloads or links. There are also links in here. These are the whole group templates in the Google Docs. And if you have a comment, you could always drop it in there as well. All right, so everything is downloadable. Create a RICA binder, keep it all handy. Truly, I think it will be super beneficial to you. Let me go back to this. Okay, so we did that. I try to make this really easy so that everything is housed in one location and you're not searching around. But these are where you are going to find some additional information. Going into module 4. So here's where we start to get into the whole class template. So there is a video with a slide deck, very much like you just saw, that talks just about this whole class template and how to complete it. You can expand it, you can pause it, you can take, here's a handout I have that goes with it. See what that looks like. Oh, there it is. So all of the slide decks so that you can take notes if you would like is available to you. And what I also provide you with are YouTube video links for lesson ideas. So if you're like, I don't know what to do, well, maybe you're thinking of doing something with sounding out and blending, decodable text, tap and spell. You can watch these. These are all videos that have been vetted by me. And so you can see and get some ideas. And I do that for each one. In the sample template, there's a video where I walk you through the template. I'll show you what that looks like. I have it in 2 ways. I put it in a Google Doc also. So the sample template is me highlighting and annotating so that you can see what it is, what I want you to do, and what needs to be focused on, okay? And I do it for every single template so that it is all right there. You don't make a copy of this template. What you do is you open it up side by side as you are working on yours, and it is like your resource. It is your your go-to for like, okay, what are they asking me here? So you can see it's pretty detailed, and I do that for every single module, every single small group, or every single setting. And there are 3 of those. So you can see next module, I'm just going to skip through. Individual, same thing. And then wrapping it up, we talk about reflection forms. That is part of your template that needs to be completed. How do you submit your templates? And then there are some bonus sessions, Q&A sessions where you will see me chatting with some past members because they had some questions. And there's one other thing that I have. Let me go and see if I can find it in the right place. It's in the bonus content module. So the bonus content has the Q&A recordings. It has an instructional best practice workshop, or it was a workshop I did. It's a cheat sheet. And this yes test revision tool, this is a really powerful tool that I actually used as a teacher. And what it does is it focuses your attention to what your template needs to be. Your reviewers, your tutors, whoever's going to be reviewing will have access to this also. So I break it down by sections, and it's basically reminding you, do you have all of these pieces? If you do, you circle yes, that means great, it's good. If you ever find a no, then that means you better go back and fix that before you submit it. So do you have a clear objective that focuses on the outcomes of the student? Does your objective match the competency selected? Does your lesson demonstrate direct instruction? And it goes on to make sure that you have everything you need before you hit submit. Okay? Any questions before I click out of this? That's the course. Anything you want to see or know if it's there? Okay. I hope that means I've been very thorough. Otherwise, you're like, oh, this is a lot. And let me say, I always say this. I don't recommend it, honestly. I think it's a lot of work. I pretty much really think the written is the best option for most people. I will say, though, for some people, they're just more comfortable here. And the students that I've worked with, when we did the cohorts last year, I think we had about an 80% pass rate. We had a small submission group in October. We had an 88% pass rate. It was a pretty small group. But so it's even with me reviewing and pointing things out for people, there's still a chance that it doesn't receive the pass. There has been, when I go back and I look at the templates that didn't pass, most of the time there are things there that I was like, that needed to be handled. And you know how you guys know, because you're teachers, you know how you say things, you can say it and say it and say it, but it's up to the person to do it to the right level of performance. And so most of them, I felt like, okay, I can see how this one didn't pass. There has only been one. There is one person that I still don't understand why she didn't pass. And it infuriated me because I'm just like, in fact, she's now in my written course. I'm like, this is on me, girl. You're getting through this because this is crazy. So it is an option, but I want you to be informed before you make that decision. And another thing, I don't want you to wait. So if I would make this decision in December and plan to start in January, or because December is kind of crazy, plan to start in January and get yourself submitted in March. And if you don't get the pass, you've got another submission. By then, you might be doing both. I've had people do that as well. But please don't get to the point where I haven't passed. And guess what? I just got notified by my school district that I am not going to be hired, because that's horrible. That's awful. And I want to help you get through it. I truly do. Another side note, the RICA, as the way it's currently laid out, you all know, is going away in 2015. That doesn't change anything for you as of now. You are already in the pipeline. And I have said it from the beginning, and now counties and universities are also sending out messages that are telling you, take the RICA now, get it done as soon as you can. Don't wait. I know you're busy, you guys, but don't wait. If you missed our written exam Q&A, I recorded it, but I'm not going to upload it. Brianna knows I was into a coughing fit. I do not know what happened, but I was talking to my husband. I'm like, there's no way I'm putting that out there. It was terrible. So I'm going to re-record that and make it available. If you're interested in the written, just make an informed decision. Okay. And if you want to reach out to me, I'm going to drop my email in the chat, readingdiva06@gmail.com. I'm going to do another one of these, the video and the written exam, in January. And then I won't do another one until after March. Well, no, I might. We'll see. But please don't delay. Okay. Make that decision this month and get on it. All right. I'll stick around if anybody has any questions, but thank you so much for being here, you guys. I appreciate it. I know that your time is valuable and I want you to go and get some rest. So thanks. Reach out if you need me.